Today we are going to ride on this lobster boat and watch lobster fishermen do their job. This is especially exciting for me, having grown up on Rhode Island beaches, which is where I spent my childhood summers at my grandmother's beach house. I would see lobstermen offshore dropping their traps and pulling up their traps and wondered what their day was like and what exactly they did on those little boats. We used to jump off the big quahog boats into the water when they were docked. Quahogs are a type of clam, but I've never been up close and personal with a lobster boat. The man in the white shirt is Captain Steve. The boat is named Captain Jack after his grandson. And the deckhand is Robbie. The bait they put in the traps is frozen fish. The boat motor is very loud, so I'm going to relay some of the information that these lobstermen shared with us. Each lobster boat is allowed to put out 800 of these traps, but this lobsterman has 200 traps out in the water right now.
So many traps, you can have them all floating. No, I can't.
There's where all the lobsters went. Right there. There they are. We knew we could find some somewhere.
Small lobsters and female lobsters with eggs have to be thrown back. The captain is measuring the lobster's body. It must be at least 3 1/4 inches to keep, or they have to pay a fine if they don't throw it back.
Look at that one. That's a nice one, isn't it? Look at all the bushes.
Robbie's putting elastic bands on the lobster claws because they are capable of breaking fingers. And the bands also prevent the lobsters from fighting each other. They can and will fight to the death.
I'd like to see that.
There are almost 6,000 licensed lobstermen in Maine and 3 million lobster traps in the waters off the coast of Maine.
All lobstermen want to do that.
Lobsters can live as long as 100 years and weigh as much as 40 pounds. The antenna on the lobster's head is for locating food. There's an osprey nest on that barge. That's a big nest and a big bird.
You can do a Latin along or... Huh?
I said that one has a lot of lobsters.
Yeah, a lot of little ones.
Yeah.
Captain Steve says he doesn't fish in the wintertime. He said he doesn't do anything in the wintertime. He just fires up his gas stove and hibernates.
They get to stay alive.
Somebody finds boat rides relaxing.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Oh, that
Exactly.
Well, you're making brownie points.
Yeah.
Why don't you just shut your mouth?
How are you?
Christ, I'm sorry, I can't help it. He's an idiot.
Captain Steve is a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, he hired me though. Well, it shows what he hired. Huh? He says hire a handicap.
Runs the most of them is where it rains not even here.
Lobsters are an expensive delicacy these days, but back in the colonial era, lobster meat was considered garbage and was fed to animals, slaves, and prison inmates. Lobsters are bottom feeders and they eat snails, clams, and crabs. And if they're desperate, they'll resort to cannibalism and eat each other. The captain had to complete a 2-year apprenticeship to be allowed to operate this boat. I guess it's more complicated than it looks. The captain just finished yelling at a teenage boy who took a lobster buoy out of the water and was walking away with it. He told me better put it back or it's a $500 fine. The buoys float on the surface of the water and tell the lobstermen where their traps are. Each lobsterman has a different color code on his buoys.
Thank you. I don't get into
There's a seal in the water, just his head poking above the surface.
Go in the water and go on his way. But... Oh, there's a dog. Dog on the boat.
Hey, puppy, what are
See
you
the
doing?
doggy? That's a sea doggy.
There's a sea dog on that boat, a labradoodle.
Labradoodle. I'm going to cross one with a Shih Tzu and Pit Bull. Oh, bullshit. You must have watched that Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
The captain says he gets about $6 a pound for these. I hope you guys had a good life, but I won't tell you what I'm having for dinner.